your breath and count to 10. Just count to 10.
We are back on the Squared Circle on Spreaker.com, also on iTunes. What a week it has been in WWE. Hello, Max, my friend. How have you been?
I have seen better and worse days, and you're right. This has been a pretty busy week.
Yeah,
Just a few things.
It's been a pretty interesting week here in WWE, so we've got a lot to get to today. We were supposed to be back on Monday for a special pay-per-view episode. Fortunately, you and I have other jobs now, so, hey, what are you going to do? You got to make a living somehow.
Curse you, bills and responsibilities.
But we are back. We're going to discuss Hell in a Cell. I've got a surprise for you as well, my friend, something you don't know yet. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I knew everything.
We'll also get to Monday Night Raw. We will also get to NXT to close out the show. So why don't we start out with Hell in a Cell.
All right, let's go to hell.
So the kickoff show.
Didn't watch it.
Neither did I.
I'm sorry, I never watched the kickoff.
I didn't watch it live. I went back and watched it.
I just didn't watch it, period.
I went back and watched it on the network. It was okay.
I forget, what was the kickoff again?
It was Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville versus Rusev, Sheamus, and Barrett. Congratulations, you're up 1-0 in our predictions. Yeah.
Randy Orton post time.
Oh, boy.
Every time I get one right now.
So it was an okay fight. I mean, it was the same thing that happened the week before on Raw.
What a shock.
It was pretty much the same match, except the faces won instead of the heels. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing big to talk about there. No storyline extensions or anything. Just.
Wrestling happened.
Yeah. My thoughts for that match were. So.
Yeah. I think we might have a bit more to say about what comes next.
Let's go to the next one, because that's where it gets exciting. All right, so the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. Now, you and I last week had talked about our top 5 predictions. First of all, when Zeb Coulter came out,
my immediate reaction was Swagger. I just sort of went kind of quiet. Mm-hmm. My eyes kind of widened. I just went, oh, God, no. My hands go over my mouth. Not Jack Swagger. Not Jack Swagger.
I thought it was Swagger, too, and I was like,
I was horrified.
No. All of a sudden, I hear Alberto Del Rio! And I'm like, oh, my God. I can die happy now.
I was just like, I mean, I will admit, was not really a big fan of him his first run in WWE. Became a fan of his as Alberto El Patron through AAA, Lucha Underground. When he came out, my immediate reaction was, wait, what? Wasn't there that whole thing with, like, catering and just, like, you getting fight? Okay. And then immediately all that, my brain just kind of shut off and was overwhelmed with happy, and I was just, like, pumping my fist and practically screaming El Patron. Pretty sure it irritated my neighbors.
He's still AAA champion. He's still at Lucha Underground. All of his contracts are still active.
Yeah, and he's not the only one that has the most, because, James Storm.
He's over at TNA.
Samoa Joe had an open contract when he first signed up and was still working shows with ROH.
Right.
I kind of got to wonder if that's the way they've been incentivizing some of these guys to come in, and if that's the way they're like, okay, here's our apology for that stuff that happened, Del Rio. You can keep those other contracts and the other title and stuff. Like, okay.
Right. Honestly, was Alberto Del Rio in your top 100? Because we gave our top 5 last week.
You could have listed every wrestler who still wrestles in the world today, and I still would have said any of them but Alberto Del Rio or Hulk Hogan.
See, and we were talking about this on the way here. I follow a website called WhatCulture.com, their WWE section, and both of the Adams there are phenomenal. They're funny. They're knowledgeable in WWE, but their reaction to Alberto Del Rio coming out, they were both like, "What? Are you serious?" It was.
It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, that guy's never coming back because the way it went down. It'd be like if Hogan or Punk or somebody came back. You'd be like, wait.
The day that Punk ever sets foot in a WWE arena again, I don't think it will ever happen.
I think he would get a Cena reaction where it's just like split with like livid hatred and absolute adoration.
I disagree with you. I think the building would be annihilated. I think if Punk ever came back to WWE, we'd be talking about it for weeks.
I mean, I definitely could see that happening. I'm just saying, personally, the reaction I would predict would be that split. But anyway,
Yeah. But
this match
was
short
and shocking. He lost cleanly.
And I love this. I've complained about this before on this show. I love the fact that Del Rio won. He does the backstabber. He does kind of like this low super kick, like a thrust kick, like Goldberg would do.
Right.
And that's it. And then just a little spoiler jump ahead to Raw. He wins again, double foot stomp and a tree of woe.
Right.
He's not going. You never know what he's going to win with now. And I like that. I like that he's supposed to be a submission specialist. He's supposed to be a wrestler, an MMA fighter. They're letting him do it, basically. It's none of that, oh, well, Jeff Hardy's going to win because he hit the Swanton. Or he's not going to win because he didn't hit the Swanton yet. You don't have that problem. Instead, is Del Rio going to win because he just kicked that guy in the head? Or is he going to win because he just threw him across the ring? Or, oh, God, he's going for submission. And then in the back of your mind, he's got that cross arm breaker, which the longer they delay him using that, the more beastly that thing becomes.
Right. So the ending of this match makes me believe that there's a much more bad blood between John Cena and the WWE head brass than is being reported.
Bad blood.
Because first, he lost cleanly in 10 minutes, which is something...
not even. It was like 8.5.
Yeah, it's something we'd never seen, first of all, in a John Cena fight, really, or in a John Cena U.S. Open challenge.
I mean, he wasn't losing that quickly, that cleanly since, God, back when he was a heel or right around when he first turned face before he started getting any titles. So we're going back like to 2003 and 4.
So that makes me think that there is some tension between Cena and the head brass more than what's being reported and what we think is actually going on.
I guess I could see that because a lot of people, and I personally didn't pick up on this. I've thought about the match. I actually went back and rewatched part of it, and I guess I can see where some people get this. A lot of people thought, especially after the match, but a lot during the match, that Cena's a guy who loves this stuff. It doesn't matter if you love him or hate him. He loves WWE. He loves wrestling. A lot of people have been saying he didn't seem motivated on Sunday.
Right.
He was kind of just walking through it.
He seemed a little lethargic, a little... just going with the motions kind of thing.
Well, I got my 2 months off.
Right. So, again, that makes me think that there's more to this story than we actually think.
Yeah. And like I said, I could definitely give that some credence because, like I said, I personally, it didn't affect the match for me. I still thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was a good match.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean... Del Rio wasn't quite, kind of a similar thing with Del Rio. He wasn't wrestling like El Patron. He was wrestling like he did back in his old time, just a bit faster.
Right.
But it's a testament to both of them that, Cena's a little lethargic. Maybe he's going at 80%. Del Rio's not wrestling like, his top game. And they still, in less than 10 minutes, threw that together.
Right. So...
the crowd helped, of course. That crowd was going crazy.
Yeah, so, like I've said, John Cena's off for 2 months, so we're not going to be hearing this very often anymore, so...
Get those memes ready, people. You better start find the crank call so you can keep it fresh in your mind.
We'll throw it up on our Facebook page so people can watch it. If they haven't seen it yet, first of all, have they been living under a rock?
Yeah, it doesn't... I have friends who have never... seen wrestling if I mention I've got a friend who actually thinks it's still the WWF because they used to see commercials for it, and I'm pretty sure even they know about the Cena meme. So
yeah, so we'll move on. The first Hell in a Cell match
was the second match.
It was the second match, but oh my God!
I mean, I will freely admit, as a Hell in a Cell match, I was a little cool on it. If we're going to throw out letter grades, as a cell match, I give it a C. But as a no DQs match, it's really freaking good. Especially that bit with the chair actually in the grate structure and then Bray Wyatt just kind of his face imploding into it.
Yeah. The whole thing with Roman spearing Bray through through the table too.
Oh,
that was a good spot.
that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, first of all,
both of them.
The back part of the table I don't think broke the way it was supposed to. So Bray's head kind of went forward. And
if you listen, you can hear it.
You can hear the thud against the table, and it's
and it's not a thick table, But it's not like the old days where they would use thicker tables or at least that would have like an edge on them so it looked thick and they'd be pre-cut. Like nobody pre-cuts their tables anymore because I guess they hate their performers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the reason like when a table doesn't break, it's because, well, there's a reason why they have them sign waivers.
So my question to you is, and we'll get more into this when we get to the Brock Lesnar Taker match.
Right.
Are we seeing not so much the end of the PG era, but are we going towards more like a PG-13 era? Because a lot more use of weapons, a lot of blood.
At least in the final match.
At least in the final match. And there was some blood here and there from or in the other matches, but good Lord, this, especially the use of the weapons in this match when Wyatt put both of the kendo sticks into the turnbuckles.
Yeah, I'm such a sucker for that spot, by the way.
Oh my God. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, that's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess maybe people have been saying that for a while before, because there'd always be an incident like from about like say 2011 forward where someone would get accidentally busted open, or you'd have something like the 2012 Extreme Rules match between Cena and Lesnar where they both bled like stuck pigs pretty much, and
right.
Cena or incidents where people had to get like staples and whatnot. And
well, Brock had to get 9 stitches in his head.
Oh yeah.
So
people have been saying that like, oh, maybe we're edging away from it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, recently it just, at least with Hell in a Cell, it felt like how do I put this? I think when it comes to like things like Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, the live specials that don't have to be on network TV, I think it seems like they're relaxing their own PG standard a bit. Like PG is pretty much nobody's using language that if it were on network TV, it would have to get a beep. The amount of blood is confined to maybe 1 or 2 matches. There's no extreme overt sexual content, but there's still all that. It's like how a lot of cartoons these days, you sit down and watch them, think it's for a kid, and you sit there and go, you would need to be 13, 14 to even understand it. I think if that's what they're going to do, that's not bad, but that's going to then create like, okay, you got regular old TV PG Raw, and then suddenly you got people like cracking their skulls open on a pay-per-view, It's.
What is your feeling on blood in WWE?
I don't think there needs to be a lot of it. Like, it doesn't need to be, people don't need to be, donning, as JR would say back in the day, the old crimson mask.
The old Steve Austin picture, or the old Steve Austin where he's just gushing blood.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be like that. And it certainly doesn't need to be like that all the time, but I do think I think blood is an essential part of it. I think just, because, okay, someone gets punched. Sure. I've been punched in the mouth before, didn't bust my lip, it doesn't bleed all the time. Stuff happens, I get that. But sometimes it's that idea, especially if you're going to have anything involving gimmicks or weapons. If someone's getting hit with a piece of metal or having their face dragged like along the side of the elimination chamber or a cage or getting thrown through something, even if it's a blunt object, it's taking it up that level, and if they can just eat that punishment with no real visible damage, I think it adds to the realism, and I think when you have that bit of blood, it gets a lot of the smarkier fans who start going, they start booing a match because it's slow. All of a sudden, they're not dumping all over the match because they're like, holy crap! Just every once in a while to sort of keep it more, give it a sense, give it an edge, give it realism.
I think the sight of blood in especially in the Taker Lesnar fight, I think added that extra. This doesn't seem just like a storyline match. Yeah. This seems like a fight to me. And the fact that there was blood, yes, Brock may have bladed when he was against the ring.
I personally don't think he had enough time to.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
But it added that this actually looks like a fisticuffs fight instead of it's Hell in a Cell match because it's October. Yeah. In your words.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. We're not going to get in, by the way. There's a trick-or-treat street fight on SmackDown tonight. We're not going to get into that.
Stop. That is like my, for you and Rusev's little nickname, no. It's not funny. It's not cool.
Every time I mention the trick-or-treat street fight, you're going to say Ruru.
Don't test me. Do not test me. You don't want none of this.
So you again had correctly predicted this fight So you're up 3-1. The ending of the fight, how did you feel about it? It was, I liked it.
I liked it. I liked it. I don't know. My only real issue here, and I think it's not a big deal. It's not something that like ruins the ending. It's basically like the ending's like 99% of instead of 100%. The only issue is that, and I think it's just because of the way they've handled him in the past and how recent that past is. Bray losing and Roman winning, both of these things feel very predictable. And personally, I have nothing wrong with the victory. Roman getting the win makes sense. I see where they want to go with him. I'm fine with it. Personally, if I'd done the booking, the only reason I would have had Bray win is just because, like I've said in the past, his character is on rehab at this point. Then again, they kind of threw me for a loop on that one at the end of the show. So I guess...
I think it threw everybody for a loop.
Especially with, and how they followed it up on Raw. Honestly, it's one of those things that I'm kind of glad we're doing this show now, because it's like, you know what? Maybe I wouldn't have booked Bray like that.
And I can see where they're going with this. They're setting up for a Survivor Series match. Guaranteed.
I know, and it makes me tingly.
It's going to be Team Undertaker versus Team Wyatt. I'm calling it now.
If they don't call Team Undertaker the Brothers of Destruction, regardless of who else is on their team,
well,
I will cry.
I think it's going to be Roman and Ambrose. Roman and Ambrose, Kane and Undertaker versus the Wyatt family.
Okay, I'm
Guaranteed.
Sorry. Even then, it makes even more sense. You got the original Brothers of Destruction. You've got two members of the Shield who run around calling themselves brothers, who have destroyed people with tables or through them.
Mm-hmm.
Just give it to me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, yeah, you're up 3-1. You jerk.
Hey, it's not easy being this good.
Yeah, I think you're going to like the surprise later in the night. All right, so our next match would be, I believe, the Intercontinental match.
Yes.
Kevin Owens versus Ryback, who apparently had a kitty cat on his unitard for some reason. I don't know what that was on his
Looking
unitard.
back on it, it looked like a cat, yeah. hey, if Tyson Kidd can have, like, cat paws on, like, the ends of his sleeves and, like, cat-themed headphones and cat paw print kick pads and talk about his cats and work them into not just promos but storylines, Ryback can have a kitty airbrushed on his uniform. I'm fine with it.
I'm the big guy with a cat on his unitard.
I'm the big cat.
Stupid.
Let him call himself the big cat.
Oh, gosh.
And then we can all make references about the cat.
This fight, predictable. I'm glad that Ryback didn't have a shot.
Yeah.
Because had Ryback grabbed the title back from Owens, you and I would have much different opinions.
There's not a word in the English language for that kind of anger. Like that is, it would, if there were, it would roughly mean I'm gonna light your house on fire and giggle about it. That's the level. Like no.
Yeah. So
predictable, but it was the ending I think they needed.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The fight was physical.
Oh, yeah.
Ryback. I remember one spot where Owens called for the pop-up power bomb, and he threw Ryback against the ropes, and Ryback comes back with the meat hook clothesline from hell.
Yeah, just boom! Like,
he channeled his inner JBL on that one.
Yeah. I mean, JBL had one move he was ever able to make look good, aside from maybe like a Beal toss, which nobody can mess that up.
Right.
Except maybe Evan Marie. But...
Oh, God.
Had to get the burn in there. All read everything.
God,
anyway.
You had to say her name.
I did. But anyway, it's like, but that was, I honestly thought it was done there. Because the meat hook, he's used that to finish matches before, so I'm like, that would be a perfect counter spot.
Yeah, well, then he called for the
shell shock.
The shell shock, and then the referee, because Owens he was hanging onto those ropes for dear life, and the referee backed up Ryback, and as soon as Ryback backed up, Kevin Owens threw him against the rope, pop-up powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. That's the match.
Yeah.
So
I was okay with that.
You know, not so much a distraction finish, more as a...
I don't know how I'd describe... I think it would be... It's not really even a heel victory. It's more just taking advantage of a legitimate situation.
Right.
He saw an opportunity and took advantage. You can argue... I like that when they do that, they pull that... It's like what they did with Neville and Sami Zayn at first. Like, it was in that negligible area. Like, yeah, that's not really cool because you're friends or whatever, but it's still a legit thing. Here, it's like, yeah, Kevin Owens is a right douche, but that's completely legit. That's a legit thing to do in the match. So I like it when they do that because you're like, all right, you're right. Like, you hate the fact that he's right, but it's like,
You dick.
which works
You're-
perfect for his character.
Yeah.
If anyone that works perfect for it's Owens. So because of that, I'm kind of in love with the ending personally. But
Right. So Kevin Owens wins by pop-up powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. You're up 4-1. No, you're up 4-2. I had Owens in that fight too. So
I think most people probably would have.
yeah,
honestly.
whoever picked Ryback in that fight, go lay down.
Go home. You're
drunk.
Hopefully, it's just drunk.
So the next fight, you and I both agreed in 3 seconds who was going to win this fight. Charlotte versus Nikki Bella. Honestly, I thought this was a very good Divas match because the stipulation that nobody was allowed at ringside.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Thank you.
That is a fair point.
It showcased the Divas in the ring, other than the Divas outside the ring causing shenanigans. You know,
Yeah.
Brie Bella up on the announce table. We want Sasha.
Yeah.
So
I guess for me, it wasn't a bad match. I liked it. I liked the fact that Nikki had moments where I could almost go, "That's a good wrestler." Didn't actually seem that Charlotte needed to do all the work. I did like a lot of they did some really good selling. A lot of the actual technical wrestling was pretty solid. It was a fine match. It was just nothing that really held my attention too much.
yeah, I mean,
Nothing really good or bad.
Don't
to
get me
say.
wrong. Yes, the Divas fight was a Divas fight. It was better than the Divas fights on Raw.
That don't take much.
Yeah, but
On occasion, but
yeah. So this fight, was physical. Of course, Charlotte won with the figure 8 leg lock.
nothing wrong with that.
No, especially since Nikki Bella had been working on her back the entire match. You could actually see Charlotte struggling to actually lock it in, and I like that because
Selling on offense.
it's not like hitting a DDT on the concrete, then coming back to pin Justin Gabriel and Wade Barrett.
Well, in all fairness, Cena's not the only one being guilty of that. In fact, a lot of wrestlers that are actually really, really good.
That's
I've
the only
noticed-
one we're still bitter about.
Oh well, yeah. Well, it's like absorb like 20 minutes of punishment in a 21-minute match. Last minute pop up. Oh, I'm fine.
Yep.
It's like Cena is one of the more egregious offenders when it comes to that. But a lot of people, especially in WWE, it's like, dude, you're trying to tell a story.
Right.
You just got cranked in the face. It's fine if you're going to win, but at least act like that hurt.
Right. So, all right, we'll move on to the tag team match. The New Day versus the Dudley Boys. Unfortunately, neither of us score a point on this match,
No.
but
But,
I'm starting to disagree with my decision.
okay.
I honestly liked the ending of this match.
I don't know how to feel about it.
I'm starting to turn on the New Day.
Oh, I'm not turning on the New Day at all. I still love it.
No,
Still.
well, you know what turning for me means.
Oh yeah, it would mean you coming to the light side and embracing embracing the power of positivity.
I'm not there yet. I'm respecting them as a wrestler. It's like me and Seth Rollins. When Seth Rollins first destroyed the Shield, I hated him. I just absolutely... Oh, God, I thought I was going to murder somebody. But now, after, countless pay-per-views of him defending his title by himself, ever since J&J Security left, ever since, stuff like that, where he's actually had to prove himself in pay-per-views, I'm okay with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a good wrestler in my book.
Yeah.
So,
I guess with this match, I guess it was just more of... I guess a background problem is we've got, the New Day, we got the Dudleys, and that's kind of about it. The rest of the teams are teams that people either don't take seriously or wind up on television often enough to really matter.
I'm wearing my favorite tag team shirt. I'm wearing my Usos shirt. Once they come back, they're going to be right back on top.
I guess the only issue there is then we go from 2 to 3 teams, which, it's one more team, but it's also only one more team.
By the time they come back, though, I don't want to spoil anything, but a tag team may come up from NXT. I won't say who because it's going to spoil something.
Okay.
But from what I've read, they may be pulling a team up from NXT to solve that.
I'm okay with
that. If the Usos come back, pulling a 4th team from NXT.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine because most of the teams in NXT are pretty good. Like I said, the ending, I don't know. I just
throw up your unicorn horns and just bow your head and.
I mean, it wasn't a bad finish.
No.
I mean, it wasn't your typical distraction roll-up or heel shenanigans. I mean, those elements were definitely present, but, I mean, I don't know. I think it was because the elements were there, but it wasn't quite there that kind of threw me off.
Right. There were certain points where, yes, the spots were good. I thought the part with the trombone, not the first part, where Kofi brought it into the ring and then threw it at Bubba Ray, and then fell down onto the ring and like he just got hit with it. Honestly, I thought that was going to end in a disqualification.
I thought that was going to work.
And I told you last week, if that would have happened, I would have come on this program and burned everyone on the WWE writing staff. I would have roasted them. Woo! But I'm sitting here thinking, don't do it. Don't do it. And the ref is contemplating ringing the goddamn bell. I'm thinking, don't do it. I will find you and kill you. So he doesn't do it, and then Big E hits Devon with the trombone, or what did he hit Bubba Ray? I can't remember.
No.
Big E hit one of them with the trombone, and then Kofi pinned him. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It was a good heel win.
Yeah. I think it was because it was kind of smart. It was like they tried one thing, it didn't work, and so they adapted it.
Right.
I think that's probably why it works. Why it works a bit better than your normal heel victory that WWE gives us. Because normally it's just someone's entrance music hits or whatever they try just immediately works because baby faces are all idiots apparently.
Right.
Or refs are idiots or what have you. It didn't work. They had to stop, change tactics. Yeah. And then the change is what did. So I think maybe that's what kind of smooths it out.
This ending makes me believe that even though the Dudley Boys are under contract, I think they signed a year contract, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't think they're ever going to get the titles.
In a way, they don't really need to.
Right. Well, right. They're 9-time WWE Tag Team
24-time overall world. So I mean, it's just it's. I mean, the 10th it has that wonderful ring to it.
It'd be nice, but
it's not necessary.
It's hard to book because yes, we can call them a legend team. They're a legend tag team coming back. It would be like, when Batista came back.
Yeah.
Did he win the title? I can't remember.
No.
Yeah, see, that would have been like if he won the title, then what do you do?
Yeah, it's because the dude's accomplished so much.
Right.
Where do you go? And the Dudleys, they're the most accomplished tag team ever. It's like, okay, they won. What next?
Right. So, yep, so the Dudley Boys lose to the New Day. New Day wins 1, 2, 3. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And I said I would only be okay with it if they won cleanly.
Sometimes it's just the way they handle it.
Yeah, sometimes, seeing is believing, I guess.
Yeah.
So, we'll move on to the toilet break match. It's what they're calling it.
Well,
the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match against Seth Rollins and Kane.
Gee, I wonder if we called this one.
We both missed it.
I know. Thought it was going to be the Sheamus cash in on Kane.
This match was long. Not in the sense of good long.
It was just long.
It dragged on. It did.
Eventually, it just got to don't get me wrong. I got all the respect in the world for Glenn Jacobs.
Oh, yeah.
I love Kane. I remember being a kid and watching Kane live debut, tearing off that cell thing. I remember the Brothers of Destruction first teaming up. Hell, I remember the feud with Triple H with the whole Katie Vick thing. Even then, the guy he can't go that well anymore.
Right.
And Seth, God bless him, I don't know if it's that they just don't click right, if they don't have the right chemistry, or if Kane is just, I don't want to say too old or whatever, but he could not, the best he could do was drag out a passable, long as balls match. That is the best they could do. I don't want to say put Kane out to pasture, but I think if they're going to do that, Wyatt's thing at Survivor Series that you were talking about, then after that, Kane either needs to take a really long recuperative break, or the Brothers of Destruction both just need to call it.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll see Undertaker retire at WrestleMania. Don't quote me on
Taker, I think, showed on Sunday that he can still go.
Right.
Different scenario. Kane, don't get me wrong, Kane never really all that phenomenal of a wrestler.
Right.
No insult to him. I would argue at his best he was a very good one. He was an accomplished one. He knew damn well what to do, but he's never going to be anyone's number one.
Right.
He might be someone's favorite character, but never their favorite in-ring performer. And I guess it's just a different scenario because Kane's good. The Undertaker, well, even before he was just doing one match a year, he was a legend in his own time.
Right.
So
this match was just long. It was, I don't want to say it was boring, but
I'll say
it was boring.
I was bored out of my mind. Like,
when the match ended, they went to break. What happened? Nothing happened out of the ordinary in this match, except that it was a title match.
And on top of that, what did just going, skimming forward to Raw, clearly this match has no consequences. Oh, well, Corporate Kane's not director of operations. That's great. The Authority's still in power. They're still making the same kind of decisions. And Demon Kane still wrestles in the company.
We'll get to this more when we get to recapping Monday Night Raw, is when the Authority came out on Monday night, I thought we were going to see the firing of Corporate Kane. That's the first thing that popped into my mind.
Yeah.
But then they came out to kind of, almost be babyface. Hey, what's going on? Or were they?
God,
they were in San Diego. What's going on, San Diego?
Don't start talking about the opening on Raw yet.
We'll get to
got
it.
some things.
You've got a pipe bomb tonight, don't you?
Maybe not a pipe bomb, but I've got a rant at the very least.
So yeah, Seth Rollins wins against Demon Kane, 1, 2, 3.
And then we have the match that pretty much overshadows everything.
See, and like I said, I follow whatculture.com a lot. And the video that they put up on YouTube regarding this match, I'll quote Adam on this match. It's matches like these that the rest of the card could be shit. It's matches like these that keep making me watch WWE. This match, oh my God, I'm calling it now. Spot of the year.
Which one?
The one where Undertaker tombstones Brock onto the bare wood.
Oh, yeah.
Or when Brock F5's Undertaker onto the bare wood. One of those two is going to be spot of the year.
Now, I will admit, when Brock first ripped up the padding, I'm like, okay, he's going to start destroying the ring. We've seen a couple times wrestlers do that before. Mm-hmm. As soon as he starts, he horks up Taker, and I'm like, he's going to drop him on there. He's going to hit the F5 in there. My brain, right before he hit the wood, went like this. Isn't pulling up the padding and showing that the ring is padded basically saying that it doesn't hurt as much? It's kind of like I remember an episode of Nitro where Tony Schiavone just threw everyone under the bus during a hardcore match when some guy got cranked in the head with a trash can lid and he goes, that doesn't actually hurt, it just makes a lot of noise. And it's just like, what?
As far as the ring is concerned,
but then he hit the wood and my hands went over my mouth and I was going, ah!
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where, did they expose the business? Yeah. Does anyone care? No, because that looked excruciating.
As far as the WWE ring is concerned, kayfabe is dead for that, in my opinion.
Honestly, looking back on it, that padding is not that thick.
It's not that thick.
And even Lesnar...
I'm holding my fingers up to you right now. It's about 2 inches thick.
Yeah, and even Lesnar himself has said that he's been just pushed over on it, and it hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little thing. That's why it immediately left my head as soon as, Taker's skin hit the wood. It was... And at the same time, that was such an amazing image, just ripping apart the ring and then just trying to kill each other on the skeletal remains.
And again, that's where I said, not just the blood, but the whole ripping apart the ring, ripping apart the inner workings. We see the actual structure of the ring.
Yeah.
That's what makes... It made this seem like not a storybook or a storyline match. It made it seem like a fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you until I'm going to punch you, drill you into the ring until you stop breathing kind of fight.
Yeah, and honestly, there wasn't a single thing of it. There were some things that at first I thought I wasn't going to like, but, looking back on them, dear God, the end of the match, goes for that low blow on Taker. First off, it looked like he actually low blowed him.
Yeah.
Because, wow, it's when Taker does that, the forearm behind the back low blow shot, it's like, my nads, He does that to Taker, and Taker kind of went up slightly when it happened. It's like,
Yeah.
But I thought I wasn't going to like that because, like, oh, they're going to give him, like, the tainted victory. Nope, he then proceeds to hork him up and kill him on the wood again. It's just... And I like the fact that they're basically just treating it like it's done. It is over between those two. And it's like that. I like how, like, about halfway through the match, all the little heel face things they've been trying to do with those two just went away. And it was just two giant monsters murdering each other for our entertainment.
Yeah. So.
Loved it.
So,
every second of it.
As far as a grade scale, what do you give a grade for Hell in a Cell 2015?
I hate to be this person, but I'm going B+.
That's fair.
I'm going B+ on it.
And I was going to say B, so you actually are a little bit higher than me.
Okay.
Yes, it was a great pay-per-view, but it still could have been better.
Yeah.
You know,
There were definitely
WWE certainly has a lot of things to work on as far as character development, as far as, you know, Seth Rollins, Kane, Bray Wyatt. Dean Ambrose wasn't in the pay-per-view, but needs character redevelopment.
Yeah.
You know, John
Not a
Cena's
whole
now
lot.
gone for 2 months.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah.
Yep, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go right into Monday Night Raw. Yeah, we'll get to it. So during the break, we're actually WWE sat down with Apollo Crews, and they had a two-part series, you know, kind of looking into his life.
Like what they did with Finn Balor.
And honestly, it's so good. You know, that's going to be our breaks this week. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw right here on the Squared Circle.
It takes guts to chase a dream. You can fall on your face. You know, you can completely fail. And I think that's what I fear most is failing. You dream of a certain moment, you know, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get there. And then you get to that point of reaching your dream and it just doesn't feel real, you know, even though you've dreamt about it your whole life. It's hard to explain. My family's is really different. I'm first generation American. My parents are both from Nigeria. My dad came over here in 1983. He's with the United Nations, so he traveled a lot. So grew up all over the place. We moved from California to Atlanta. Stayed there till I was about 6. Moved to Kenya and then Uganda for the next 8 years or so. Age of 10, my parents separated. We were living with my dad in Uganda at the time, and my mom took my little sister with her back to Atlanta. So we'd fly over in the summer, stay with her for the summer, a couple weeks, one-bedroom apartment, with 5 of us in there, and then fly back, go to school. At that point in time, that was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. And I don't look back on that time that period of time when going through that and see something I could smile about, but I did take some away from that as far as making myself a tougher person, I guess.
You are now tuned in to the world's greatest.
We are back here on the Squared Circle on Spreaker.com, also on iTunes. Before we get into Monday Night Raw, I completely forgot about one thing. You won the predictions for Hell in a Cell.
Okie dokie.
We potentially have a new sponsor for our show, and I'm not going to say who because it's not final yet. But they are going to be sending us a WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt and a pair of tag team title belts. That title belt is yours for now. I will be taking it back for Survivor Series, but for right now, you
an actual one of the $300-$400 replica ones.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
This is awesome.
So I'm gonna
okay with
say
this.
ding ding ding. Here's your winner and the new Squared Circle champion, Max. Yeah,
That
do
does
your
not have
Randy
much of a ring.
I don't have a Randy Orton a sounder. I'll have to get one for you because all I have is the John Cena sounder, which I'm playing right now. You can't hear it. All I have is the John Cena sounder. So,
Well, hey, that worked too. Spoiler alert: I win.
yeah, there you go. So I'm gonna be taking that back from you at Survivor Series. It'll be here in about a week and a half. So
Bring it home. No.
bring it home. I'm going to kick your ass at Survivor Series.
Oh, we have to start cutting promos, work on my psychology.
Hey, cut a promo, you'll be better than Roman Reigns, right?
Oh!
Zing!
Oh,
All right,
man.
so let's dive into Monday Night Raw. Now, before we get to the actual matches and what happened, I'm kind of interested to hear your rant about the opening. So I'll do my thing before you
Go ahead.
do it. So the Authority comes out, and I'm thinking, great, they are going to fire Kane's ass. He lost. He deserves it. And then they start hyping up Seth Rollins, and then they walk out of the ring. Like, what the hell just happened? Go ahead, take it away.
Well, let's start simple. First off, like, I wanted them to do the firing of Corporate Kane on television just because they built that aspect up. Like, that was a huge stipulation for the match. Not doing anything with that and just going, oh, yeah, by the way, he's fired, but he's totally still got a job. That irked me a bit. I could live with that. They've done that kind of thing before. It's not a big deal. To me. It irked me, but it wasn't that big. What irked me was, like, I saw the Authority, and my brain immediately went, don't do it. Don't do what I think you're going to. And they did exactly what I was hoping they weren't going to do. Ever since they picked up Seth Rollins, ever since they became ever since they became the Authority, first became really heels, they've had two big problems. Ever since they became the Authority, they can never pick a friggin' alignment. They go from heel to face basically in an episode. You'll have Stephanie start the show off by basically running down Seth's challengers or insulting everyone on the roster. And then later on, she's the mother, the matriarch of the Divas Revolution. And it's just pick an alignment and stick with it. There's a reason why people boo or tune out during the Authority segments is because it's so wishy-washy. But the other problem comes in with Seth Rollins. He comes in. He's the architect of the Shield. He destroyed them. He's their golden boy. Okay, cool, fine. He sneaks one, gets the World Heavyweight Championship. Awesome. And then ever since then, they will go out of their way to, help him out. Kane, go protect him. J&J, go protect him. You're the man, Seth. You're the best. And then turn right around and start bitching him out for, why can't you get anything done on your own? And then 2 weeks later, he's their golden boy again. And then 2 weeks later, he says, I'm about as good as Triple H in his prime. And they get all butthurt and hate him for like 2 months. And it's just, none of these stories make sense. These characters don't make sense at all. It's this giant train wreck of alignment. They seem to switch alignments more than the Big Show does. None of it's consistent. And the worst part is it damages Seth Rollins even more than just the constant making him look like he can't get anything done. Because in a way, A, it validates that, and B, there's no like firm ground to stand on, and it just all makes me want to throw another television through my television while screaming Vince's name. I'm done.
Very nice. So my question to you is, and we'll stick with this, is how long does Seth hold the title? Because, I sent you a video. Again, WhatCulture.com produces a great video about how they should book a Seth Rollins face turn, which he desperately needs. Everyone
listening to this, watch it. It's beautiful.
We will put it up on our Facebook page. We will put it up. I have a YouTube page set up for us now, Tumblr, Twitter. I'll throw it up everywhere because, honestly, Adam for WhatCulture.com should be on the WWE creative team. The way he thinks about things, just phenomenal.
Some people just got that head for the business.
Yeah, so what he says is Seth Rollins is going to win another title match. He's going to come out and say, I'm the best of all time, including Triple H. And that's going to be that's going to be the turning point where Triple H is now going to turn on Seth Rollins over time and eventually just kick his ass, get his title, make him lose the title, and then fire him. And then Seth kind of comes back. I love this little thing. Seth would come back in like this kind of Shield kind of thing where he's got the handheld camera. Hi, Triple H. It's all shaky like the Shield used to do. Again, you have to watch the 2-part video series.
It's great. Now
it's smart.
For me, like, how long do I think he's going to hold the belt?
Does he make it through Survivor Series? Now we know who his opponent is. We won't say it yet, but now we know who it is.
If it had been anyone else in the Fatal 4-Way that made it to the Fatal 4-Way that had won it, I'd probably be saying no. And no offense to any one of them, I don't mean this as a, I think Seth is better or they deserve this or even that WWE's misusing them. It's just I think it would probably be the angle that makes the most sense would be Seth wins. He retains, he survives, Survivor Series. Given who his opponent is, I don't know. I am honestly, not just from a prediction standpoint, just from a storytelling fan standpoint, I don't know right now. I kind of dig it a bit, but at the same time, the reason I don't know isn't because, this storyline has got me hooked. It's more of, I kind of know what they'd like to do with both of them. I'm not a fan of either option.
See, and how I think it's going to work is Seth is going to lose the title based on a Sheamus cash-in. He's not going to lose it in a match. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose it in a cash-in. And I don't know how right I am about this, but I think what's going to happen is the Authority is going to kind of turn Sheamus into a new Seth Rollins, you could say.
Like
turn him to the Authority.
An Architect 2.0.
Yeah, perfect. That works for me. And they're going to turn Sheamus, and Seth could win, and then Triple H hits him with a pedigree or something, kind of like they did with Daniel Bryan and Orton.
Yeah.
Or, Triple H was a special guest referee, and then Bryan won, and then Triple H hit him with the pedigree, and Orton cashed in.
Yeah.
I could see how they do that again.
Yeah.
Because that would make it. I don't think, given who his opponent is, I don't think Seth is going to drop his title at Survivor Series.
You don't think, at the very least, he's not going to drop it in the match?
In the match, correct.
Okay.
I think he's going to lose it in a cash-in. And maybe not at Survivor Series. Tables, ladders, and chairs, TLC. That if the title match is a ladder match or a tables match, that would make more sense because that takes a lot more work and a much more
even the winner of those matches is beat to hell.
Right. So he's going to lose it before the end of the year because they're going to be there are talks that the Rock and Triple H match that was everybody's talking about was going to happen is going to be put on hold.
For a Triple H
a Triple H Seth Rollins match is what I'm hearing. It may not be true, but if that's the case, they need to start setting it up soon.
And all I'm going to say is this, and this is no offense to The Rock. I would rather see Triple H than Seth.
I would rather see it any damn day.
And my only reason for that, it's not my. I can set aside literally every other reason and ignore them all except for one, and that reason is his match with Cena at WrestleMania 29, trying to get John Cena over his head. Something he'd done multiple times, something he'd done with heavier opponents. He herniated himself so bad that his intestines were starting to shift downward during the match.
Right.
It's just, no offense to The Rock, I don't want him to get hurt again. I don't think and he honestly doesn't need it.
Right. He's he's worth $100 million. He doesn't need it.
Oh yeah, well he's worth $100 million to the WWE for crying out loud.
Even not just WWE. He's a movie star. He's
he doesn't. He personally doesn't need it. He financially doesn't need it. The WWE doesn't need it.
But the fans want it. That's the problem here.
And I think that's the thing is how many fans really do want it? A lot. He gets the huge pops. But if you remember, when he had this match with Punk was a straight up heel, and Rocky was getting Rocky sucks chants. It's a lot of people. The problem that a lot of people, I think, have, even if they don't realize it, is that The Rock, his character, is a heel. And they keep trying to pass him off as a face, and he comes across kind of like the character, not the person. The character comes across like a scumbag because of it. And when you couple that with his admitted ring rust and that time away and a lot of the issues people had with the build-up between both times with him and Cena, I think there's a lot of fans that do want it. I think there's also a lot that don't, and I would, again...
you and I will agree on this. I would rather see Triple H and Seth Rollins than The Rock. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would enjoy a Rock Triple H match, given what happened last year at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Would you enjoy a Rock Rollins match?
No.
See, I'm kind of in the same ballpark.
No.
I don't think they would work.
They would not have the same ring chemistry together than say Rollins and Triple H.
Oh yeah, I mean, and part of that is going to come from they just don't work in close proximity. But I mean, I just figured I'd throw it out there. But
you and I, we're going to figure out something to do for WrestleMania, for this show.
We just wear party hats.
Yeah, party hats. We'll bring in streamers and everything. Yeah.
If WrestleMania sucks, we'll bring in like 2 cups. One cup is full of liquor, and the other cup will be full of tears.
Yeah, hopefully for the next couple of years, if we're still doing this, WrestleMania comes closer to here, we'll go out and not go into WrestleMania, but have a setup outside.
That would be cool.
I think that would be kind of cool. And their Raw is going to be in Minneapolis in December. I thought about grabbing us some tickets, grabbing some audio equipment, and
be down with that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out because we're still in the beginning stages of this show. So.
Feeling it out, as it were.
We gotta get sponsors, and we gotta get.
Anyway,
so we'll actually get into Monday Night Raw because we actually haven't done that yet.
No,
so
we haven't.
The stipulation for the entire show of Raw is the reason they brought out Seth Rollins is they decided that for the first time in months, I think. They actually they're going to decide who the number 1 contender is.
Instead of just going, that guy is.
Yeah. So they decide that the winners of 4 matches will compete in a fatal 4-way at the end of Raw for the main event to determine the number 1 contender. But the stipulation was every participant in those matches had to have won at Hell in a Cell. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Gold.
I mean, I think it says a lot that's the best idea they've had in a while. I mean, it's a good idea, but at the same time, it's like, wow, this is the best. Like, NXT had the Dusty Classic. Lucha Underground had the Gift of the Gods Championship. Mm-hmm. They got that Grand pre-tournament thing in TNA. Now that's TNA. And it's just like mainstream WWE, the best thing we can do, a bunch of people who won last night are going to be in a tournament to determine the number 1 contender. Again, it's a good idea, but it's just... Hey, the end result was a series of good matches.
It shows how bad Raw has been over the last few weeks, where that...
It's like revolutionary.
It excites everyone watching Monday Night Raw. Because you and I, on the way here, we're both agreeing. Monday Night Raw this week, I'll give it a B.
Oh, yeah.
A solid B. Not in the F- where it's been for the last few weeks.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I think at this point it'd be like anything would be better. Like you could teleport like Sheamus into my living room and have him beat the crap out of me, and I'd take it over some of the Raws we've had.
Right. So the first match would be Roman Reigns versus 1/3 of the tag team champions, Kofi Kingston.
Can't imagine who won that. Was it Kofi? No, of course it was
Unfortunately,
Roman.
It was not Kofi.
I think I would have lost my mind, like legitimately gone slightly insane and assumed that, like I can taste colors or something had Kofi Kingston actually won, because it'd be like...
No. Reigns was totally dominant in this match.
Oh,
there was no point where you thought Kofi's going to win this match.
No, and part of that was just good job by Kofi. He looked like he was getting beaten to death a few times. Like, especially that ending, like the end there. I'm like, wow, I think he might have actually hurt him a little bit. Holy crap, dude. Great match, though.
It was a short match, great match. Again, all the matches on Monday Night Raw this week.
Yeah.
Compared
honestly.
to where it's been.
Yeah. Even matches where I'm like, I don't like what this match is, it was still a good match for what it was, which is saying a lot for Raw these days.
Right. So, Roman is going to be the first participant in the Fatal 4-Way. We move on to the next match. The Intercontinental Champion, Kevin Owens, versus the Uppercut Express man himself, Cesaro.
Never have I loved a match so much, and yet simultaneously been happy and frustrated with the finish. Because the guy I can't believe I'm going to say it because I love Owens. I love Steen so much, but the guy I wanted lost.
Yeah, I really wanted Cesaro to win this match. Now,
that
in the
flying, twisting European uppercut.
I love it.
God.
Yeah. Cesaro has really made a name. Yeah.
You the real MVP.
Exactly. Cesaro, ever since Tyson Kidd was injured by Samoa Joe during that match at NXT. Cesaro, yeah. Did you just give a unicorn?
I love Tyson Kidd. Of course I gave him a unicorn. That man has kitty cats on his boots. You can look at me like that all you want.
Moving on.
I just derailed it. Yeah.
Ever since Kidd was injured, Cesaro really has made a name for himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, given he was in the kickoff match for Hell in a Cell and nobody watched it.
Hey, I think the people in attendance probably didn't watch it either.
They were busy getting beer.
Beer, checking their phones. Hey, honey, did you see this cat video? No,
But Cesaro really is starting to be pushed. And the fans, I'll admit, I love it when I see the Cesaro section signs.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. It's in good fun.
And I love the way, like I was saying to you before we were recording, I like the fact that people, like higher ups, it's like, oh, he doesn't connect properly because he can't really cut a very good promo because of his accent or whatever. He connects by just being with the people and like pointing to them and interacting with them. And that coupled with his just natural charisma and his just holy crap wrestling ability and his overall look, it's just, I don't care if he was literally mute. Give this man a belt, please.
I think we'll see him in the Intercontinental title area.
I'm fine with that. Belt's a belt, and they've been doing a pretty decent job with the IC Championship. So if he winds up with that, I mean, we get another Owens versus Cesaro, and nobody can really complain about that.
Right.
And then after that, we would wind up with Cesaro as a champion, and just saying that makes me happy.
Right. But I really thought for the longest time during this match, Cesaro was going to win. Cesaro kept hitting that uppercut express. I love that series of moves.
God, it looks so good and so painful.
Yeah, so he would he was more interested in a outright pin, I guess if you will, than actually kind of taking Owens' strength down to a little, so he would lose to a pop-up powerbomb. And you and I have been talking about this over the last few weeks, especially regarding Nikki Bella. Using the same finisher over and over and over again. I think it's different in, like, say, Kevin Owens' case because it's breathtaking. You see, like, when he pop-up powerbombed Mark Henry.
When he pop-up powerbombed Mark, wow, I can barely even say it, Mark Henry, I didn't even make a sound. I just sat there, jaw down, just, oh my
the way
God.
that he does it, he pushes them up into the air and then wraps his arms underneath their legs and then, boom, and just annihilates them.
It's like, one thing I heard once that I can't remember who it was. It was a wrestling show I watch on YouTube every once in a while. They said that Kevin Owens is like the husky wrestling fan version of Brock Lesnar. He's like if Brock Lesnar didn't look like he could kill you by breathing. Right. And you're right about it. It's like, because one thing it's old school wrestling, because way back when nobody did a power bomb because it was you can legitimately hurt someone with that, and B, it's so damn devastating because you have to hurt someone up to the top of your head. That in some cases can be 6 or more feet straight down slam across the neck, back, and shoulders. Yeah. And especially the way they're protecting it, and the fact that they're doing things like him getting Mark Henry, big guys like Ryback up on a regular basis. He pinned Cena with it. He's using the same move over and over, but it's so cripplingly effective that it's like, why would he use something else?
Right. It's breathtaking in compared to, I'm not of course comparing him to Nikki Bella, but where Nikki Bella puts the opponent up on her shoulders and then drops to her knees.
Like, I can get how that would jar an opponent. I even get in wrestling logic how that could pin an opponent, but only after you've basically beaten them half to death.
Right.
A pop-up powerbomb, I mean, for crying out loud, the only powerbomb variation I can think of that is more brutal looking is like just a straight-up sheer drop release, or as it was known when Kevin Nash did it, jackknife, where you don't bend with the opponent and you just sort of spike drop them down.
Right.
I mean, and with the pop-up, it's got that, well, in its name, it's got that pop-up, so it's just...
It's breathtaking.
Yeah, and especially when you... Like, the fact that he actually got the pop-up part on Henry is just sort of like...
I thought... I saw him throw him against the ropes. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. And sure as shit, it did. And I was like, oh my God. I love you.
You wrestling Jesus, you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those, like I said, I would have preferred it as Cesaro one, but I got Owens versus Cesaro. I got that, as you called it, breathtaking pop-up powerbomb. I'm not going to complain too much.
Yep, so Owens moves on to the Fatal 4-Way later in the main event. We moved on to the next part, and I heard the bell ring, and I heard Lillian Garcia start speaking. I thought we were going to see something good. And then she said, "The following contest is a 6-diva tag team match." Click.
I have literally nothing to say because I don't have DVR. I have to watch. That's right. So all through all this stuff where people are like, "Man, I just fast forward through all this stuff." I'm like, don't even talk to me. I may have digital cable, and I actually I misspoke earlier before when we were talking. I do get Destination America and all that, but I get a lot of channels, but I don't have DVR. So
Do you have Wi-Fi at your house?
no, no. So I have to suffer through this. Nope. I'm like, this is on USA. I immediately put up info, start scrolling through. I'm like, oh look, new episode of. Oh, it's not new. It's a repeat of Adventure Time.
No.
Like, watching Adventure Time. Adventure Time.
No.
Come on, grab your friends.
Regarding the ending,
Didn't even see it.
you didn't see the ending.
Didn't see the ending of this match.
You
Didn't look.
you saw Paige actually complete her turn to heel. Because before this match, Paige was all, "I'm so sorry" to Charlotte and Nikki, and I'm here for you guys. I'm on your team. And then they did the PCB pinky lock, and they're like, okay, we kind of forgive you, kind of thing. And I thought, oh great, Paige is going to go back to being on a team and a face again. The match ends after Charlotte wins, and Paige kicks the shit out of Charlotte and Becky.
Oh, thank God the team is finally gone.
Yeah, the team PCB is officially done.
Praise the Lord. Now one down.
Yep, one team down, 2 to go, and then we can actually start.
And then just think of it. You've got 9 wrestlers.
Yep.
That almost sounds like you've got an entire division.
Yeah.
I wonder what you could do with that.
Actually have good matches for once. So.
No, dude, no, what are you talking about?
We
Come on,
move on
I did come back after that.
to the United States champion Alberto Del Rio versus Neville.
God, this match made me happy.
I can't say Del Rio's name normal. You have to say it like Marcelo.
Oh, it's the same thing. Like when I'm these days I think of him as El Patron. So I can't say Albert. I can say it now, Alberto El Patron. But no, I have to say it like the Lucha Underground announcer, Alberto El Patron. It's just
It's fun to do.
I love this match. I loved it, but at the same time,
Are you
that friggin' ending was just double foot stomp, tree of woe. Del Rio doesn't like British people.
No, apparently not.
He does not like. He has this perpetually surly look on his face, like he like. I love it. And I love the fact that he's still a face. He's killing people, looks like he's angry about life, and is still a face. I want to hug whose ever decision this was. Just,
right. Are you a member of Mex America now?
I am a proud Mex American.
I need to get that flag. I really do.
I need to get that flag. I need to get that on a shirt and just be like proud. Just get Mex American pride. Someone will be so angry, and I won't care.
You and I will have to go to Webco and get shirts made, and they'll look at us really weird, like, "What the hell is that?"
We're like
don't worry about it.
It's not. Don't worry. We are, in fact, probably the whitest people you've ever seen. But this isn't racist. It's for wrestling. Why are you looking at me like that?
Right.
No, it's just I loved this.
Yeah, this match was good.
And I loved the bits beforehand with like the little interview in the back where like Zeb Coulter's talking about what like being Mex American means, and Alberto's just sitting there like, yeah. And he's like agreeing with him, and and he does give his like 2 cents, but the whole time, even though he sounds like he's into it, he just looks like somebody slapped his mother.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like the pairing between Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio.
Again, another person whose decision-making skills I want to hug.
Right. I don't think it's going to last very long.
Don't say that. It might actually not.
If it does, we'll get Mex
Dude,
America
I want this to be
t-shirts.
I want this to be the babyface like racial unity version of Punk and Heyman.
Yeah.
That is what I want.
Oh.
This is like this thing is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
I think I might like it a little too much.
Punk, we miss you, Punk. Punk, come back.
He's not.
Oh, please just answer our prayers.
Just like I don't know, tweet something, anything, be like just troll people even, it'd be funny.
Yeah, well, have you listened to it, or do you follow him on Twitter at all?
No.
Some of his tweets, former WWE people tweeted him, and he's just a dick to him.
Oh yeah, I've seen like screen caps of them. He can be so funny at 1 minute, and then the next minute it's like, dude, who did this person actually slap your mother? Because seriously.
Yeah, so...
But anyway, moving on.
See, you can't hear it right now. I'm playing Cult of Personality. Given that little tribute to Punk. Come back, Punk. So we move on. Alberto Del Rio wins with the Tree of Woe. Great move! Oh my God!
Double stomp into
Yes.
a Tree of Woe. Like, I think for a moment I became like 3 years old at Christmas.
Right.
It was just like, what?
So then we move on. The following contest is a 6-man tag team match scheduled for one fall. Okay, I guess. It's Rusev, Sheamus, and Queen Barrett versus Ryback and the Dudley Boys. What? See, and I said it, I don't remember if I said it last week or the week before. I hate this match. Not because of who's in it. Not what happened during the match.
No.
Well, maybe because of who's in it. But because there's absolutely no storyline with the 6 of these people. Yeah, Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett are now on their... Queen Barrett, excuse me. Are on their 4th match together now? Something like that?
And apparently people are like, oh, they're a stable now.
What? Are they going to be the non-Americans?
I like what is this going to be like the UK front the
Queen's Court?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I refuse to call him King Barrett.
I
So
can't.
if he wants to keep his cape and his crown, he's going to be called Queen Barrett.
Oh my! I can't. Queen's Court. I think he killed me a little.
But this match, I don't know. King Barrett, I think, hit Wasteland on Ryback.
Was it Wasteland?
I can't remember. I really wasn't paying attention.
I was watching it, but my eyes were glazing.
Your brain was turned off. Yeah. So all I know is the heel team lost, or the heel team won. That's it.
Zippity doo dah.
Zippity doo dah.
It didn't have anything to do with the tournament. I think that's why my brain didn't care.
Right. And so after that, we see the flames go off.
Indeed.
Demon Kane comes. We can, I guess, just call him Kane now.
Yeah, don't really need to specify anymore.
Yeah, Corporate Kane. We don't know what happened to him because, the authority didn't fucking fire him.
Well, they did mention it, like, Corporate Kane has been relieved of his duties. Because,
did they?
Yeah, they mentioned it like once or twice.
Okay. But so Kane comes to the ring, and then the Bray Wyatt little thing on the screen goes off. And they did the exact same thing to Kane that they did to Undertaker at Hell in a Cell.
I know! It was great!
Oh, man. And I told you, this is setting up for Survivor Series.
Yeah, at this point, again, this was another moment where I just became 10.
Yeah.
This was me watching Kane rip down the door of the cell and face the Undertaker for the first time. That's what this was, except, a bit less of Kane looking strong and a bit more of Kane being carried out like he's lashed to a cross.
Right.
All I need, it was actually kind of legitimately creepy. Like when there was just no sound except for, like the crowd, obviously, and the music, but they weren't really doing anything other than just walking with him. And it was just so unsettling because of that.
Right.
Also, all the Wyatt family's all united. Luke Harper was in there. Eric Rowan.
The Wyatt family is scarier now that they're a stable of 4.
Yeah. I think it's just because there have been so many trios in WWE that having that 4th person and having them matter, because essentially they brought in Braun Strowman, but before that they kind of nixed Rowan and then swapped out. So Harper's really the one that's coming back. He's the one who's sort of like completing it. He's the one, and it's just having that 4th man come in, it's like, oh. And I hate to say it, a part of it is like a symmetry thing, because then you've got like one person carrying Kane's feet, one at each arm, one at the head. Right. And there's just, you don't get to use words like imagery with WWE that often, but they're beautifully creepy imagery.
Yeah. So that was it. There was no match. It was just Bray and the Wyatt family carrying off Kane.
That promo where he's like,
him?
I don't know. And I wonder what they're going to like do storyline wise, because like Bray was all, like he's recovering from his loss. And I like the fact that he acknowledged his loss to Roman, took it like a loss. Like, it wasn't a whole wins and losses don't matter. No, I friggin' lost, and I had to recuperate.
Right.
Like, and I dug that. And he's like, he's regenerating by feasting on the soul of the Undertaker.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing with them, what they're going to be doing with them storyline-wise, but I actually want to know.
Yeah. Like I said, I think this is setting up for Survivor Series.
And I am so okay with that. Like, there's this little 10-year-old me just going, yes.
So our final match for the qualifying for the Fatal 4-Way,
Yes.
Dolph Ziggler versus Big E.
Really wasn't into this one.
Yeah, this was a clear who was going to win match.
Yeah.
You know, if Big E went on.
Which I'm okay with. I like Big E a lot. In fact,
Yeah.
sacrilegious among some wrestling fans, I'd take him over Ziggler.
Really?
Just, I don't know, there's something about Big E and his characters, the personas he's had, and the way he puts himself into them. And his promos are just, for me, way more entertaining. I think his characters are more interesting with the way he carries them. And I don't know, like, wrestling-wise, there's something about the way Big E moves. And I don't know. I'm not saying Ziggler's bad. Ziggler's great. But personally, I take Big E. So I was okay with the finish. The match itself didn't do anything for me.
For some reason, and I don't know what was going on here, and this is the second week in a row that we've been recording this podcast, and a group of sirens go by our
Don't look at me
studio.
like that, man. I buried those bodies 10 feet.
Is that the text where I got the text that the bodies are buried from you?
No.
So anyway, going back on topic, before this match began, Tyler Breeze and Summer Rae came out.
VIP section.
Nothing happened. They just came out to sit on the goddamn, I don't know. Yeah, WWE said, are they scouting? Duh. What else are they doing?
Of course they're scouting.
What the hell else are they going to do?
I think I'm enough of a Tyler Breeze fan that I was just kind of like, Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing that really occurred during this match or around it. Really.
Which this match was okay. It was better than, say, Roman and Kofi. Roman just annihilated Kofi.
Which I think, like, honestly, even if you've never watched WWE before, I think if you just saw those two, you'd probably go, yeah, Roman's going to kick that little dude's butt. No offense to Kofi Kingston. Hell, I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts that Kofi Kingston legit knows how to fight. But at the same time, just going off of appearances, Kofi's going to die.
Yeah. So
it's just
Ziggler would win with a zigzag. I love the zigzag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler is the last qualifier for the Fatal 4-Way. Now, we get to another one of those breast cancer awareness promos.
Yeah.
And it was Titus O'Neil this time. Because last time it was John Cena, and he probably would have done it again had John Cena not fled the universe.
And I like how no storyline for that. Like, I was thinking, okay, as soon as Del Rio came out, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen is he's going to lock in the cross arm breaker, and since they kind of are building him up as a face at the beginning of the match, Cena it'll be that more guts than brains moment. He refuses to give in. He winds up passing out, and the cross arm breaker does damage to him, and there's your injury angle. He's out.
Right. He just lost cleanly, and all of a sudden he was gone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did the whole thing where, like, he takes a while to get up, and he looks, like, flabbergasted and just wiped out because, the whole, the match just, caught up with him, all the title defenses. It's like, okay, that's not really a reason to leave. In fact, what about his rematch clause? It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll freely admit, I'm not unhappy to see him go, but you can't have someone leave without giving some semblance of a reason, especially if they're as big as Cena.
Right. And here's the other thing. Cena is scheduled to appear back on Monday Night Raw December 26th.
Gee.
The day after Christmas.
Well, some kids will be pretty happy.
Well, the thing is, he's scheduled to face Sheamus. Does somebody have a title by then? Sheamus? Does he have the title by then?
I don't know. And,
because a Sheamus...
Why
Cena,
would he come back and, just face who's ever the U.S. champion?
Right. Invoke your rematch clause.
I mean, hell, he invoked a rematch against Owens after Owens beat him. He got a rematch, within 5 minutes.
Right.
Why wouldn't you...
It doesn't make sense. But anyway, the Titus O'Neil is in charge of the breast cancer awareness thing, and it was awkward. Because at the end of the promo, don't get me wrong, Titus cut a great promo for Susan G. Komen. At the end of the promo, they started playing the Primetime Players music, and they started doing the $1 Million Shuffle, and Triple H is standing right behind Titus O'Neil, and he's got like his fingers on his eyes, like, stop it. And then
Just no.
Darren Young comes in. He was like 3 rows back because a lot of the superstars are already in the ring.
Yeah.
And he comes in, he starts doing it with them, and the women in the ring are just like, what are we doing, kind of thing.
Is this what we're supposed to do?
So then we get to the main event. Roman Reigns, Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, and Kevin Owens in a fatal 4-way for the #1 contendership for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
And while this was a great match, if you didn't see who was winning this one coming, you have never laid eyes on WWE before.
You are
ever.
blind. This match was predictable, but good.
Oh yeah, it was, and it was one of those times when the predictability wasn't where this was a great match, but it was predictable. This was just a great match that happened to have a predictable element,
Right.
Which is perfectly fine. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I mean, there have been plenty of times where I'm like, such and such is going to lose, or such and such is going to win, or this swerve will happen, and it happens. I didn't really care because it was well done.
Right. So it was a great match. You know, Ziggler hit the Famouser on Del Rio twice.
Yeah.
And I thought it was over there.
Oh yeah.
You know, but this would move outside the ring. They would be kicking the crap out of each other.
Bodies everywhere, as they like to say.
It was mind-boggling how good this match was.
This was really
given
freaking
what's been on Monday Night Raw the last few weeks.
Now, admittedly, I'll admit that it could be one of those, like, this is really great in mental comparison to what we usually get.
Right.
It could be that, but you know what? At this point, I'm kind of willing to take that. And again, yes, the ending is predictable.
Right.
You know, the gorgeous, handsome prince, the cousin of The Rock, Roman, he picks up that win. But it didn't bother me. It doesn't really offend me. It's more of a, okay, great match. Roman looked good. He picked up the win. Kind of figured he would because I didn't think for one hot second anyone, like, we're going to put Del Rio versus Rollins.
No.
Sure.
Yeah, so Roman Reigns punches his ticket, literally,
Oh, yeah.
to the #1 contendership for Seth Rollins' title. I'm gonna like that match.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think that'll be a good one.
I think Roman Reigns has earned his opportunity.
Yeah. At the very least, he's earned his opportunity to be in the main event of one of the big four around the title, even if he doesn't pick it up.
Right. So we're going to take one more break. We are going to come back. We're going to lightly touch on NXT from this week. And then we are going to look forward to next week on Monday Night Raw. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to keep going on that Apollo Crews interview. A great interview from the WWE Network. We'll take a short break, come back right here on the Squared Circle.
Talking to my brother, coming over here, and he's just wishing me happy birthday, talking about how we used to wrestle when we were younger, and, now that what's about to happen, it kind of made me like, I just got emotional. I got that little knot in my throat, and it's fun. I get to debut in front of 13,000 plus people on my birthday, man. I don't think it gets much better than that.
Anticipation for a NXT debut. There's a lot of eyeballs watching this match. A lot of eyeballs who wanted to see how Apollo Crews is going to perform here in NXT. Oh, hold on here. Standing moonsault! Are you kidding me? Is that enough? Wow! Happy birthday, Apollo Crews, and welcome to NXT.
I just don't believe it happened. It all went by so quick. And I was trying to enjoy every moment of it, but those people were loud and crazy, and I just fed off that energy. And I mean,
It's just, I don't even know what to say, honestly. It was crazy. It's amazing.
To debut for that many people on my birthday is one of the stories that I'll tell my grandkids. You know, it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime things.
Tonight here in Brooklyn, the Apollo Nation was born. That's what you guys just witnessed.
At that point, when they got behind me, just gave me that much more will and determination, you know, to win. Like, I was talking to my sister, and she's like, man, all these people cheering for you. It's so weird because I just see you as my little brother. She doesn't see me. She sees me as a little kid.
And during the few moments that we have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
It's clobbering time! We probably shouldn't have mentioned CM Punk because now I just want to go back and watch old CM Punk.
I've been wearing my Punk hood.
Welcome back to the Sports Circle on Spreaker.com and iTunes. We're going to briefly touch here on NXT. You know, not a lot actually happened on NXT this week. I mean, nothing, I don't want to say nothing important happened.
I mean,
but it was...
for me, the highlight was probably Joe and Breeze.
And that's really all we're going to touch on this week is the Samoa Joe and Tyler Breeze fight.
So many reasons I enjoyed this.
Right. It was a great match, you know, and I've only seen about half of it, to be completely honest with you. I watched it before we came here today because I was working last night. But it was a good fight.
Oh, yeah.
You know, of course, this match set up because Tyler Breeze, after he was eliminated in the Battle Royale,
cost Joe his spot in the Battle Royal.
Yep, cost him the fight. So,
and there's the one thing that really made me love this, and I've heard a couple people actually complain about this, like, oh man, they had the blow off for this feud on just a regular episode of NXT. That'd be like if they changed the one of the titles on a regular episode of NXT, and I'm like, they shouldn't do that often, but if they only ever do that on takeover specials or whatever, you run into a problem that WWE's had for a while. You don't expect a title to change hands on Raw. You don't expect a major feud to be settled on Raw. You don't expect anything to be done on Raw. Raw's just another chapter. You expect that to happen on the pay-per-view.
And I wish it did.
Yeah,
I do.
It would make it... It makes it... If you don't do it often, but just often enough to put the idea in the audience's heads that it could happen, that means every title defense could see a title change.
You know, for instance, when Dolph Ziggler was Mr. Money in the Bank, he cashed in on the Monday or the Raw after WrestleMania against Alberto Del Rio.
Yep.
Perfect. Even though it was the Raw after WrestleMania, it still was Monday Night Raw, and it's not really expected.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're talking about Sheamus cashing in at a pay-per-view. Hell, it could happen at Raw.
But do you expect it to?
Of course not.
Exactly.
I'm
That's
smart.
the problem.
Well, I'm not dumb.
Well, that's the other problem is you're not an idiot and you're watching Raw, modern day Raw. There's your issue.
Yeah.
Then again, I do that too. Wow, that was the sound of my heart breaking. Yeah. Anyway, so it's just I love the fact that it's like, okay, I kind of figured, all right, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're gonna go WWE, screw with the finish, this will keep going. No, it's basically just settled, and I'm like, they only did this for like 3 weeks, but especially with the promos they had the two cut, like that first one from Joe, where he's just like, I'm gonna basically just amounted to at the end, I'm gonna hurt you. Like, you got the vibe like, okay, maybe he's legit pissed at Tyler Breeze behind the scene. Because, like, damn. And then this match, like, he showed that.
Right. He was just taking Tyler Breeze to...
He was taking him to school. He took him behind the woodshed.
Right. He might have put him in the wood chipper.
Oh, yeah. He put him into the wood chipper by throwing him through the woodshed.
Right.
No, but this was good. This was very good.
It was a very good match, a very physical match, a great finish. Put him in the Coquina,
Coquita clutch.
Thank you.
No problem.
Never pronounced that.
I can never say it normally. That's like the first time I've ever said There you go.
There you go.
I got the one time I'll say it my whole life.
Yep. I'll I'll snippet that little part out of the podcast and I'll send it to you. You can just replay it over and over and over again. It's a memento.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
means a lot.
No problem.
But I think honestly though, I got to admit, other than that, there's nothing really bad on this episode of NXT. But other than that, the only thing that stood out to me was actually a problem, and I mentioned to you before. And I want to know, like, if anyone who's listening to this, had this issue. For me, especially the first match, the editing was really bad. Like, it was stuttering.
Yeah.
Like, at one point, was it Shazza, right? The other one?
Right. Emma defeated Shazza.
Yeah, she's, like, getting her leg over the ropes as she's getting in. And then all of a sudden, she's in front of Emma in, like, the middle of the ring. And it's like, I didn't realize being Australian gave you, Harry Potter apportation powers. What the hell?
Yeah.
But also, I got to say this, the crowd was kind of on point when they actually did the Australian ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi chant.
Yes!
That made me so happy. I'm like, dude, I bet even though they both stayed committed to their characters in that match, but I bet in their heads they're both going, yes. I know I would have been if I were in their place.
Yeah, now, real quick, we're going to touch on this. Dash and Dawson. Enzo and Cass were coming out to the ring to face, I don't remember who they were coming to face, I think just somebody else. And Dawson and Wilder attacked Enzo and Cass.
Which, you don't even get to fight Enzo and Cass in a legit match and have the audience not hate you.
Now you know why this happened, right? Last week, during the match with, I think it was Dash and Dawson still, Cassidy actually suffered I think it was a sprained MCL.
Ooh.
Yep. So he's legitly hurt. So
he
now they got to write him off with an injury.
Might as well do it.
Was this a good idea? I think it was.
I think it's the nature of the beast. Whenever someone gets hurt, if it's not an injury that can be easily recovered from in like just 1 or 2 weeks, and even 2 weeks is usually pushing it. If you're going to be on the shelf for anything longer than that, they got to find a way to do it. Because otherwise, it's like, we can't have you wrestle because you might permanently hurt yourself or you might need to wind up being out for longer. So it's what they always do. It's an angle. It's adaptive. And the way they handled it was just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it works perfectly because you want heel heat in NXT? Do something to Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Enzo and Cass are the vaudevillains, or Bayley. Congratulations, the universe hates you now. Especially that last one. If you look at Bayley sideways, I'm pretty sure people start sharpening pocket knives.
I know something you don't know, and I'm not going to tell you, because it'll happen next week.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we were looking up stuff for James Storm a couple weeks ago and Apollo Crews and stuff, and I found a spoiler about what's going to happen next week, and you're not going to like it.
All right,
You're
we'll
not
see.
going to be
We'll
happy.
See. We'll see.
So, previewing next week for NXT, Apollo Crews versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship.
That's going to be baller.
Right. Who do you have? I'm not trying to take your belt already. It hasn't
I understand.
even come yet.
No, that's understandable. Honestly, for this one, I hate to say this. I really, really do. I love Finn Balor. I do personally think it's going to be him. That's who I'd pick. I would rather Apollo Crews pick up the win, just because I know they've just started the whole, Balor Club thing with him. And personally, seeing that, knowing who he was as Fergal Devitt with the Bullet Club in New Japan Pro, makes me smell a heel turn. That's something I think they really need to do, because outside of that Who is Finn Balor documentary style video thing, he has no personality.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows how to have, he knows how to be charismatic. He can connect with people, but it's like, tell me who Samoa Joe is as a character, and you can do it. Sami Zayn, Bayley, Baron Corbin, Rhino. Tell me who Finn Balor is as a character. He's that guy who paints himself up like a demon.
Right.
So I personally think that if he does win, I would hope there would be like a bit of some heel shenanigans involved, just to facilitate that turn, because then he has a character. But personally, I think either way, it's going to be him.
Right. So that's really it for NXT. I mean, nothing really. I don't want to say nothing really major happened. It was still a good NXT.
Oh, yeah. It was a filler chapter, if you want to look at it like that.
Right.
So filler isn't always bad.
Yep. So next week on NXT, Apollo Crews versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. I'm certainly looking forward to that match. That's going to do it for the Squared Circle here on Spreaker.com, also on iTunes. We will be back. We're trying to get, next week, we're trying to get usually Thursdays that we record. So we'll be back next week for the Squared Circle on Spreaker.com and on iTunes. So until then, have a great week in WWE, everybody. Woo!